All these trade schools that one of our illustrious premiers decided we no longer needed, and now we've got no tradesmen.
Yeah, this is the crazy situation.
Well, welcome to a new Dave's Classic Garage Tours video. At this time I'm visiting Vyvian at Art on Wheels, his restoration business in Malvern's East. Plenty to get through. I've obviously forgotten to do an intro outside his place, so you get the benefit of seeing out the back of mine.
Looks like a good enough time as any to have a chat. Put that on you there, Vyvian. Tell us what you had for breakfast this morning. What for your noise levels?
How's that go?
That's about right. Yeah, good. Right, who's this down here first of all?
This is Axel.
Axel.
Yep.
Axel likes a bit of a spark.
Oh yes.
Jumping away.
Chase sparks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vyvian, thank you very, very much for allowing us to come and disturb you.
Nah, not a problem.
Mate, this is a sight to behold in here, and it's all a one-man band.
One-man show. Yeah.
Wow.
I've got a contract painter who comes in for me occasionally when I need him.
Yeah.
But apart from that, this is all.
Alfas are your passion.
Yep, certainly are. I've been working on these since they were brand new, the 105 series back in the 70s.
Right.
Went off and did teaching for a while and then got asked to do a job, so came back to do a job, and yeah, been doing restorations on Alfas for the last 30 plus years.
Wonderful. And sorry, teaching at
TAFE, I taught at TAFE down in Frankston.
Right, yeah. They're no longer there, all these...
No, they're all gone.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, all these trade schools that one of our illustrious premiers decided we no longer needed, and now we've got no tradesmen.
Yeah, this is the crazy situation I find around on my visits and what have you. That unfortunately, I generally say balding, grey-haired men and whatever. You're not one of them. You only go into one category.
Unfortunately, just getting old.
But it's a sad situation. I mean, I'm looking around at all these tools and that big heavy machinery and whatever. That where did they all go from the tapes? They get gone down the scrap yards? Or?
A lot of them got scrapped.
Yeah.
The big Echo there, you see,
yeah.
that came out of General Motors division when they closed all that down.
Right.
All that just said we got no design studios here anymore.
Yeah.
General Motors closed up theirs. Ford closed up theirs. There's none of that's all gone now.
Yeah, it's crazy. As I've said as well, it's as I keep on saying, when you guys are gone, there's just going to be a shed loads of expensive paperweights.
Yep. And very for people who are passionate about classic cars, no matter what brand, what they are, it's just going to get harder and harder to find people that can repair them mechanically, electrically, body-wise.
Yeah.
It's just going to get more difficult.
But what I have found, is you guys, the shops that I go and visit are so busy as well.
Yeah,
They've got time for apprenticeships to whatever. So they need, somewhere a skills academy outside to be able to teach the basics and what have you.
Yes, if we had an academy like they do in, say, Europe, at a lot of their places where people can go and get basic skills, whether it's in painting, mechanical, trimming, bodywork, then they can go to a business and go, look, okay, I've got basic skills, this is what I want to do as a career, can I get a job?
Yeah.
And then they go, okay, look, you can learn.
Would you say that basic skills that are particular to working on older cars, not just crash repair and whatever?
Crash repairs take off a guard, put a new guard on.
Yeah.
Like what they call a panel beater is no longer a panel beater.
Right.
You ask them to repair some of these guards these days, they go, put a new one.
Yeah, sure.
They've got no idea how to do it.
Yeah.
And also, cars aren't made to be repaired.
No, exactly. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Well, it's not just a repair you're doing, by the looks of it, you're actually building.
I'm building a Alfa TZ1. Right. They made 100 of these back in the 66, 67.
Yeah.
They were basically designed to be a race car, but road registrable.
Right.
I've collected numerous parts over decades, and yeah, I'm reconstructing the chassis.
Yeah.
There's a bonnet we reconstructed with one of the blokes who used to work with me. Parts of it, I was fortunate. We went to Holland where they were repairing one, and they let us make patterns off stuff.
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah.
So that was very fortunate. But yeah, I've been working on this. We're making patterns for all the suspension here. So that's a diff casing, gearbox casing. So yeah, then we get the patterns made, cast them up, get them machined.
This ain't taught in bloody colleges, is it?
No, this is serious recreation.
Yeah, sure.
And this,
so this TZ1 is this is your own.
This is for me.
You?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But I've made stuff so that I can make multiples.
Right. Okay.
So if someone comes along and says, "Yeah, I want one," whether it be from Australia, America, Japan, wherever, I can go, "Yeah, look, I've got all the patterns, all the jigs. We can make another one."
Right. Okay. I'm dying actually. Get on Google now to remind myself what a TZ1
I'll show you.
looks like.
If you
okay.
stop that, and I'll go and grab you a model, and I'll show you what we're doing.
All right. Look at this. I mean, this is craftsmanship. That's how you see it. Neck over there. Body. Look at this. Can you believe it? This is what it's all about. This is what we're going to be losing, guys. If we don't get these kids interested in this kind of work. We need it. Oh, right. Yeah, well, right. Yes.
So this is what we're building.
Beautiful. Okay. Stunning.
And
Yeah.
this is what's called a buck.
Yeah.
And that was made by one of the blokes who used to work at General Motors Design for me.
Right. Yeah.
And he helped design the buck that is the full-size buck that we've got over here.
Done some
So
film of that.
that's what that will eventually look like.
Unbelievable. Wonderful.
Mechanical parts are the same as the original 105 series Alfa.
Yeah.
I've collected original parts, and I've got around, I would say, 50% of mechanical original.
So how many were original made?
110 they made.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, that's stunning.
So I've been able to collect parts all over the world for years.
Yeah.
I started off, we had one here,
Yeah.
and when that got sold, the gentleman who owned it and sold it had a heap of spare parts. He didn't sell them when he sold the car.
Yeah.
So he then came to me and said, "Listen, do you want to buy them?" And I said, "Well, I didn't expect that I was going to be able to afford them," but he said, yeah. He offered me a good deal, and then I've got all these original panels. So then I went, "Oh, well, now I'll start collecting everything else and start working on one."
Wow, this is going to be stunning. That's going to be absolutely. And so, what's the time frame of this? How long is it? You know, when did you kick into gear? And
well, I'd like to have the chassis finished by the end of the year.
Right.
We're in the process of mechanical stuff is getting done as we go along.
Yeah.
Suspension stuff is being made. So I'd like to have the chassis finished so that then we can go, okay, put the structure on, make it a rolling chassis.
Yeah. Who's building your engine for you?
A gentleman at Pace Engineering.
All right.
That's what he does, is building Alfa engines. So that's all he does.
Yeah.
Mechanically parts, some of the engineering stuff's been built by Ron Harrop, who used to be tied up on the Holden race team and what have you. He still works for himself.
Oh, Ron himself?
Ron himself still works for himself,
Okay.
He's another elderly gentleman who still works for him, Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he's famous for me because of the Sierras, Dick Johnson's Sierras and whatever.
And then he made all the big brakes for the Commodores and all that sort of stuff. So so he's been helping me with stuff. So
great stuff. So this is the. I've taken some shots of the buck.
Yep.
Tell us about.
Well, see this one here. This is an original. What we can think is an original chassis.
Right. Okay.
It came up, and a gentleman happened to own it who lives up in Queensland.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, you can borrow it to copy.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
these bits here, the structure here, is what we went to Holland a couple of years ago to look at one over there which we could copy and pattern up all this part.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the biggest hill you've had to climb on this build?
Chasing parts that are sort of unobtainable.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a windscreen.
Yeah.
So we had to try and find an original windscreen so that we could actually make the shape.
Right.
And then now I've got to get windscreens made. So you go down all these paths of stuff where you can't just go to a shelf and go, well, that's that.
Sure.
And as I said, you know, we're getting all the patterns made, but it's an independent rear end.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So you've got to work out, chase up bits you can buy to actually make it all work.
Yeah. 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 And when it comes to getting a screen made, there are glass makers out there that that will do that individual parts or
individual
or
parts.
one of them?
There's a crowd in Queensland.
Yeah.
That will make limited production.
Limited production.
If you've got an original, so they can make a mould.
Yeah.
They will then make limited production screens for you.
Do you think there's an audience out there?
I think there's a market for it, but I need to get it close to finished.
Yeah.
I post it on Instagram.
Yeah.
People follow it. People have spoken to me about it. I've had a few inquiries about people wanting to buy one.
Wonderful.
But no one's come forward and gone, well, you know,
yeah.
here's a deposit.
Yes, yeah, no, understood, right, okay. All right, well, that's a crazy one that it's fallen off the radar for me, but it's bloody, well, now that you see, because it's that sort of, what do they call the old back end where it's
Camtail.
like, camtail, that's the
Yes.
one. Like a Daytona.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
Was there anything design inspiration that came from the Daytona?
No, this was all designed before the Daytona. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, when they first made this, it had a different tail on it.
Right.
And then when they were trying to get aerodynamics and what have you, they worked out if they cut the tail off, the cam tail worked better.
Oh, yeah, yes. There you go. Much the same story as Shelby had with the Daytona, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, wonderful. All right, well, we'll halt that one there and now we can have a look at some other stuff. Great. There's two that shouldn't be here.
Two classic British cars.
So is that something, just another liking, or is it business that sent you away?
The Morgan Plus 8's mine.
Right, okay.
And the Mark II Jag's a customer's car.
Right, okay.
And then something that you might find also interesting, out of the left field.
Yes. Oh, what a colour. What a beautiful colour. Yes, absolutely stunning. What's pistachio?
Yes.
That would
a
be,
stunning little Fiat 500 that we're building.
What year would that be?
1959.
Oh, it's an early one.
Yes, it's a very early one.
One.
So it's suicide doors.
Yeah. There you go.
So yes.
Where did that come from? Is it brought in from abroad or?
No, it was on eBay.
Right.
Saw it on eBay 5 or 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
And wife fell in love with it and wanted one.
So a lot of these projects are yours then?
That's mine. The Fiat's,
the
wife's.
Yeah.
But
and how old's the Morgan?
It's a 78 model.
And it's a plus 8.
So it's a plus 8.
Yeah, okay. Quite a resurgence of the Morgan are having at the moment, aren't they?
Excellent. Well, that's a typical example of what we were talking about previously. We're teaching the old skills.
Yeah.
They're still teaching young kids ash frame making, panel making.
Yeah.
Even with their modern cars, even though they've gone to aluminium, they're still making the timber frames.
Yeah. Come on, Australian, bloody flipping parliamentarians. Realise what we've got here, what we're going to lose.
We're going to lose a lot of it eventually because they just count beans and that's all they know.
Yeah. These are obviously the Morse-mobile, the Inspector Morse.
Yes, Inspector Morse is classically...
That was shown over here, was it?
Yes, classically known for his Mark II Jaguar.
That's right, yeah. And what, the 3.8 or a 4.2?
No, 3.8.
3.8, Did they put a 4.2 in it?
Yep.
In these?
No, only a 3.8.
3.8,
4.2 came in the E-types.
E-types, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously a full resto.
A full restoration.
Was it a bit of a sad state?
Very sad car.
They generally
and
were.
like, as lots of Jaguars were.
Yes, yeah, Even in the relatively salt-free
Yes,
Australia.
I hate to see what they like in England.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
terrible.
So yeah, so
Yeah. Now, I can't quite work that out. Although now that I'm looking at the front headlights, I can see something I recognise with the. Yeah, go on then. Go on. Show us.
you know, another typical, very English car, very well known.
Is it a 5?
No, it's a 6.
It is a 6, right?
A Mark
okay.
1 6.
Okay. Beautiful. And how did that come to you?
That came as, well, it was a driving car when I bought it.
I see.
Yeah.
Another one of yours?
Another one of mine, yes.
So you guys, young guys,
Yeah.
this trade can lead to some, you're not always going to be a mechanic working for somebody else.
No, and you're not always going to be working on a Honda or anything
No.
like that. You can buy yourself some cars and do them up and end up with some very valuable, nice cars that you like.
Yes.
Whether it's Holdens, Fords, Jaguars, Ferraris,
Absolutely.
whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, there are, obviously the supply of, this is a funny thing as well nowadays, what's actually being worked on would have been sent to a scrapyard 20 years ago.
20
but
years
now
ago.
there's value in.
Now there's value in them.
Yeah.
They're, people are prepared to spend money on them.
Yeah. And this has got a straight 6 in it?
Yep, straight 6 in it.
Okay. And where would you, who works on these in the mechanics for you?
Yeah, there's still people around. Once again, mostly elderly people who've been working on them for a long time to rebuild them.
Yeah. Come on, guys, there's bloody work out there.
And there will be young kids who will.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the ones that I do find love this work with a passion.
Yes.
Love it with a passion. And, come on. It's not all about touch screens and...
No. And sitting in front of a computer going square-eyed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, okay. And so, I mean, how do you divide your time and decide what I'm going to do next? Which one do I want to, be driving?
Well, for myself, I'm building the TZ1 because I want to try and get that going.
Yeah.
Customers' cars, it's whoever jumps the loudest and shows and pays bills when they're given a bill.
Yes. Yeah. And on that side of things nowadays, would you say that we've had for so long the car owners, they've had the upper hand, because they've been able to demand and whatever. But I mean, you guys are so busy now.
Yep.
You don't have to take the bullshit from.
We don't have to. If you get a customer turns up and you go, well, it's this much going to be this sort of money. And they go, well, that's too expensive. I just simply explain to them, well, you don't need my expertise.
Yeah.
And they go, but we want you to do it. When you go, well, this is what it costs.
Absolutely.
I have overheads like every other business.
Yeah.
So computer operators they have overheads. Yeah. You're prepared to pay them big money. Yeah. You've got to be prepared to pay us a reasonable dollar for our hours so we can make a living.
Yeah. No, this is right. I think, the sooner owners realise that it's you guys now that can make your decisions about who you work for.
Yes.
Turn away the demanding, I don't want to pay that much people and whatever, and let you get on with the job that you've got the
donkey's
years of experience to do. And then you get people who
are really passionate about their cars and are prepared to spend the money because they want it fixed properly.
Yes. Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, they've got a beautiful car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether I'm doing it or whether another workshop's doing it, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But people who are prepared to spend money on a good car, they end up with a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Okay, do that there. Okay, well.
So this is a replica GTA.
Right, okay.
So this has got aluminium panels
Are you fabricated? Or?
that we fabricated, aluminium bonnet, boot lid and doors, and it has the rivets going all round it, which is what the factory GTAs had. We built this for a customer about 12, 13 years ago. He took it home to put back together himself. Never happened.
Yeah.
Never happened.
So it's back.
So it's back.
So the paint's...
Yeah, that's
That's
that
all good
paint job
still?
as it is stands at being about 12 or 13 years old.
Yeah.
That just shows what quality will last.
Yes, absolutely. Crikey, yeah. I mean, that does look fresh. I mean, I can see, obviously it's dusty, but
Yes.
it still looks like there's a bloody good
Yeah.
paint job done on it. A new paint job done
Yes. Yeah.
on it. Yeah. So GTA, when
So
was that
GTA's
produced?
come around 67, 69.
Yeah.
They run a twin plug head and everything was lightweight.
Yes, yeah.
And they were the very successful race cars that Alfa had back in the day.
Absolutely,
You know.
absolutely. Yeah. And what were they under? That was Alfa were still independent then. They weren't under Fiat. Were
No,
they?
they were still independent back in that day and age.
Yeah. And so tell me, where there's a lot of 105s, definitely, obviously down in Melbourne here and what have you.
Yeah.
There's a lot been brought in from South Africa, I believe.
No, well,
recently.
there's a few been brought in from South Africa because South Africa actually assembled their own cars.
Yeah, yeah.
Back in the 70s, they used to bring the automatics 105s in from South Africa because
Right.
that was the only place that had automatics.
Right. Okay.
So they used to come in, and then now people are finding a few 105s in South Africa and going, well, they're cheap enough to bring into the country.
Yeah, sure. But so, who were they bought by in Australia back in the day? I mean, these,
They were an everyday driving car back in the day. Yeah. Lots of people used to buy them for their wives as a second car, or the wife had the sedan and the husband bought himself a 105 to drive around.
Yeah. And were they generally from? I mean, would Aussies buy them, or would it be from Australia?
No, they were mostly Australian people who were buying them.
Yeah. Not the new wave of Italians and whatever coming in. It was Aussies buying them as well.
Mostly Australian people buying them for. We had about 5 dealerships in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And the place I worked at, we used to be down in Camberwell, and there was a dealership round the corner, and we used to do all their work for them. Right. That's how I started to work on them. Yeah. And then it just went, oh, these are a grouse car. Because back in the very early 60s, these still had 4-wheel disc brakes.
Right.
You know, and it's only when the Japanese brought out 4-wheel disc brakes and everyone went, oh, 4-wheel disc brakes. And you went, yeah, so they've been around for a long time.
Right.
You know, twin cam engines, 5-speed gearboxes, limited slip differentials.
Yeah.
The Alfa had them all.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you see many Julias around? Do you get much of that? Or is it generally 105s you see?
No, mostly the coupes I work on.
Right. Yeah.
Occasionally you'll get someone comes in with a Julia Super or what have you.
Yeah. Wow.
This white one's been here for...
I was going to say, you said it's an automatic?
No, it's a manual.
That's a manual one.
This white one been here for a few years now. It's just about finished.
Right.
The gentleman bought it as a rolling shell.
Right.
And then said, well, I want you to do it. And I said, well, you'd have to wait. And he was prepared to wait.
Yeah.
But as a rolling shell, of course, lots of stuff wasn't there.
Not right, wasn't quite
So
there.
we've been able to source it and what have you.
So for you, I mean, what do you tell a new owner coming in with a rolling shell or whatever? How long it's
a lot of it depends on their financial state.
Yeah.
If they go, look, I've got the money sitting there, just work on it. If you can work on it flat out, and I'll pay the bills every week, that's fine.
Right.
But a lot of them go, well, I want to space it out over a couple of years.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough.
And you go, well, okay, that's okay. We'll space it out, and then I just slot it in with another job.
Yeah.
We'll do some work on it.
Yeah.
Pay the bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
and away we keep working.
You definitely wouldn't be bringing one of these in from the UK, would you? Or many.
If you could find one that was,
Yeah. Well, because you've got Alfaholics
Yes.
doing a lot of stuff. Yeah,
and they're
of course.
like huge.
Yeah, they're massive money.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're now into the retro.
Absolutely.
You know.
And where do you stand on resto modding and
Go for it.
yeah, you have
Because a lot of the stuff that they do with their resto mods makes the car better to drive, brings it up with modern conveniences.
to. Yeah.
So I have nothing against that.
no.
And there's the people who want them to be pure for concourse.
Yeah.
There's people who want them to be an everyday driver, and there's those people who go, oh yeah, look, I love a retro one, and you know,
Yeah.
let's make it go quick and
Sure.
what have you.
So, what's this up here, up the top there? What's the?
That's a 1750.
Okay. Yeah.
That's having a complete restoration.
Yes. It didn't come in like this, though, did it?
No, it didn't come in like this. This is an unfortunate fire burnout.
Yeah. So it's back to factory. This one was it?
This is all back to original,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so we paint do all the body work, get it up to a rolling shell. Once it's a rolling shell with the engine and everything in, we then paint the outside.
Right.
That way, if anything gets a scratch on it being assembled,
Yeah.
it's easy to fix
Yeah.
before it's painted.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. And so where are we at now in the process?
It's just about ready to come down. I'll fit up all the brake lines underneath, fit the engine in, and make it into a rolling shell.
Great stuff. All right, Vyvian. Well, it's been absolutely well. I'm so thankful for letting me just turn up like this.
Not a problem.
And giving me your time.
This is how long I've been working on 105s.
Oh, right.
This rusty old bonnet here.
All right.
This came off my London to Sydney rally car.
What year?
93.
The 93 one.
The 93 rally,
Right.
London
Yeah.
to Sydney, we did that. And so that's the bonnet.
Wow. I mean, the rust has appeared
Afterwards, yeah.
Afterwards,
the
right,
car
right,
sat
right.
around for a while afterward, long time afterwards.
Yeah.
And
93. Wow.
yeah,
Okay. That's
eventually I
awesome.
sold it, but I kept the bonnet.
Is that car still going?
As
and
far as I
about?
know, it's up the country somewhere.
Right. Okay.
Haven't seen it for a while.
One thing I didn't talk to you about is is the
Ferrari bonnet.
The Ferrari. Oh, hang on,
Yes,
BB.
that's a 512 bonnet.
BB.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course it is. One
Place I used to work at down in Richmond when I was an apprentice.
Yeah.
That came in as a job. The insurance assessor said, no, we'll put a new bonnet on it. And the boss said, well, no, we'll keep the bonnet.
Absolutely.
He kept the bonnet and then gave it to me years ago, and I thought, well,
Nice art piece.
makes a nice bit of art decoration on the wall.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing, people go, oh yeah, 512.
Yeah.
The bonnet's now worth quite a bit of money.
But it is, yeah. And this is it, you know, it's just a bit of scrap metal
It's just,
back in the day.
back in the day, it was just, you know, put a new bonnet on.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Now it's entirely fixable and...
It's a very repairable bonnet.
Yeah.
And would be a lot cheaper than what some people would be paying for a brand new one.
Yeah, right. Okay, mate. Well, thank you once again.
Yep.
If you don't mind, I'll pop on by and see how we're coming along.
My word.
In some time to come.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Thank you very much.
Anytime you want to come past.
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much.
Not a problem.